Kate is a young congresswoman from California, eager to begin her career of public service. A faithful reader of Fair Observer, she's keenly aware of a range of problems in the world. She wants to make her mark by addressing those that she deems the most urgent. She's particularly focused on Silicon Valley culture. She calls it a mindset summed up by the traditional Facebook motto, "Move fast and break things." As she's new at drafting legislation, she asks a kindly, elderly senator she knows to give her some advice.
Thank you for coming, Senator. I know you're busy, but I needed to talk to someone with your experience. I have all these ideas about tech regulation, antitrust, corporate responsibility, and I'm drafting a set of laws to take on the monopolies, especially in big tech. The system is rigged and I want to fix it, but I need your advice on how to frame this in a way that has a real chance.
Kate, I admire your energy. I really do. Idealism is the fire that gets things moving around here. But I think before you go too far down this road, you should hear a few things from someone who's been fighting battles on this hill longer than you've been alive.
I understand it won't be easy. I've read the headlines, seen the fights, but I'm determined to do something meaningful.
Let me stop you right there. You've got your heart in the right place, but you're setting yourself up for a world of frustration. You say you want to take on big tech, corporate monopolies, change the rules of the game? You're entering a battlefield where the rules aren't even made by people like us anymore.
But that's exactly the problem. We're supposed to make the rules. We're elected to serve the people, to hold corporations accountable. The system has to change.
The system can change. But what it should do and what it will do are two different things. The forces you're talking about, they've got their hands on every lever of power. And I'm not just talking about lobbyists or campaign donations, though that's a part of it. It's bigger than that.
I know lobbying is an issue, but there's more to politics than money, right? I want to build public pressure, rally my colleagues to focus on the long-term good. People are waking up to the damage these corporations are doing. Can't we harness that?
Kate, let me give you a glimpse of what's waiting for you. You draft your bill. You have all the right points. Data privacy, breaking up monopolies, holding CEOs accountable for anti-competitive practices. Good stuff. You even managed to get a few co-sponsors. Maybe you get some media attention. That's the easy part. Now the corporate lobbyists come. Big tech has more lawyers and lobbyists than you have people in your office. They're experts at this game. They'll find ways to water down your bill before it even reaches committee. And if, by some miracle, it makes it through committee, they'll work on amendments. Innocuous-sounding technical amendments that gut the heart of it while keeping the shell intact.
I know they'll fight it, but if I can build enough public pressure, if people demand action, won't that be enough to push it through?
You'd think, wouldn't you? But I've seen it too many times. Remember when we tried to break up the telecom monopolies? It was the same story. Public opinion was on our side. Everyone could see the problem, but by the time the bill passed, the core of it was gone, replaced with regulatory loopholes. The headline said we won a victory, but the companies just restructured to fit the new rules. They're still running the show. Then there's the media. You think they'll shine a light on your valiant battle? Some will. But others? They're owned by the same corporations you're trying to fight. Tech giants control so much of the news cycle, directly or indirectly. They'll muddy the waters, spin the narrative, confuse the public about what you're really trying to do. And your colleagues? Most of them are more worried about their next election cycle than they are about long-term structural reform.
But there are more of us now, aren't there? More people waking up to these injustices, more voters who care about inequality, about democracy. Can't we build a coalition around that?
You might get some support, but the moment you really start gaining momentum, the counteroffensive begins. The companies will lobby the moderate Democrats and Republicans to consider the economic impact. They'll argue your proposals will cost jobs, stifle innovation, maybe even harm national security. You'll see grassroots campaigns pop up overnight, funded, of course, by the very companies you're targeting. And even if you push through the House and the Senate, you still have to get past the courts. The Supreme Court these days? They lean heavily in favor of business interests. Any piece of real reform would likely be challenged, and well, you've seen how rulings tend to go.
So what then? Are you saying I should just give up, accept that we're stuck in this corrupt cycle forever?
I'm not saying give up, Kate, but you need to understand the battlefield you're stepping onto. This system is built to resist change. Corporations like big tech don't play by the same rules as the rest of us. They operate in a global digital space with resources we can't compete with. They can outspend, outmaneuver, and outlast any legislation we throw at them. You know that bill we passed years ago to regulate financial derivatives? Took over 2,000 pages of legislation, the culmination of months of work. And do you know what the bankers did? They had their lawyers comb through every line and found ways to keep doing exactly what they were doing before, only now it was within compliance.
But I have to try. I can't just sit back and let them get away with it. Even if I lose, I want the world to know I made a stand. We can't just keep letting them win.
Sighs. I know. I had that same fire once. You make your stand, you give it your best shot. But let me tell you something. Most people won't see it. Outside of your family and close friends, most won't remember what you tried to do. You'll end up spending months or years fighting a battle no one's paying attention to, while the world moves on to the next headline.
Maybe. But I'll be damned if I let them win without putting up one hell of a fight, even if no one's watching.
I hope you do fight. I hope you make them sweat. But don't expect the world to notice. That's the hardest lesson of this place. It's not about what's right or what's fair. It's about what people can get away with. And they'll get away with more than you ever thought possible. For what it's worth, I'll be rooting for you. But don't let this place break you. It's broken too many good people already.
Join the conversation at Fair Observer and subscribe to our YouTube channel.